Hey guys, it's ViewMasters Reactions, and we're back with Talks Machina, Episode 15, Campaign 2. This is where we're going to start it from now on. First off, I have new headphones for the first time. They might look similar. Look, they glow on the sides now. They're called Spirit Wolves. They're the exact same brand I had before, except they're so noise canceling that it's weird to me because I don't sound the same to myself. I sound like I'm screaming my head off. Maybe I am. They're not going to slide down. As you can see, they lock in quite well. They're so much different noise canceling wise. I got to get used to them. I'm screaming my head off. It was just, this had a big giant one. They're the exact same ones, just like the newer version. If there's one complaint I have about it, it's the wire is shorter. It's actually good in one way because the other wire was so long I had to hang it over the other side. The first one was too long. This one's slightly too short, but I'll take too short over too long any day. Either way, we got Talks Machina episode 15, Where the River Goes. The way the episode ended, we just watched the live stream last night. There was a giant gelatinous cube we had to fight that didn't do a whole lot of damage. It encapsulated or encaptured Frumpkin, almost got another one of us, but we were able to avoid the situation. We killed it. Then we see a sword we end up finding out later on from a book because Liam rolled a natural 20. I did rewatch the episode and I'm going to just quickly recap it. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of answers in Talks Machina. We usually do get information I wouldn't normally have thought we would have gotten. Some things that we don't even know on the show itself. So if you skip Talks Machina, I've said many times that you end up missing a lot. At the end, we basically see this floating cloaked figure with no legs. Or did it say that, or am I just assuming it's Sif? Sif is this dude who had this writing in this book who said that the worst of times were coming and this bounty hunter came. He hung his sword up as a warning, but he lost his legs. And now we see this cloaked figure flying around like a loony bird. As you can see, I also have a new shirt. We had new shirts yesterday for the live stream. I think I got 7 of them total. This is Beau. I told you guys at some point I would get all the chibis, they're called. I believe it's chibi. I still don't understand where that word came from. Last week, though, we got Molly and Ford. Let's see what we got. We know we're going to get Brian. You guys want to see more of what I do? Full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. There are dozens of shows over on Patreon you'll never get on YouTube. I just don't have the time to edit it all. Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Battlestar Galactica, check them out. If not, episode 15, Talks Machina. Where the river goes. Oh, that's not the phrase.
We have some crit roll stats for this episode.
Porn shots. This is all we have left from last night.
At crit roll stats.
Crit roll stats.
15 episodes in, the players have rolled 48 natural ones this campaign.
48.
Yeah.
Natural ones.
That's $4,800.
I was going to say
$4,800, $100 each.
Said 400 D&D.
Radiator
right?
hit
Yep.
while he tells the stats.
For every natural one?
4,000 babies. Shakes of a lamb's tail.
$1 for
We should
every
really start the
100.
show.
I'm intentionally
We should really start
screaming.
pretty soon.
I want to make sure the
I have a
mic
good
level
warm-up
doesn't.
today, you know.
Toast.
Gotta do tech
So that's
Toast.
$4,800.
Yeah.
What's that from?
Man, that's awesome. Contrast this with 67 natural 20s.
Ooh,
So there's
How
more.
many?
67.
And you don't even have a rogue with luck anymore.
I know, man.
So
Yeah.
that's
That's
something.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Over both campaigns and 51 initiative rolls, Ashley averages 9.45 on her initiative rolls natural value.
That's an interesting stat.
Just
Because she
below
said
average.
this week during the episode, like, I suck at.
Always
Initiative.
has.
She always has. Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of tweets, and
Ashley
yes,
is
she is
his
back in town, but yes, she will be
significant
on
other.
talks, hopefully next week. Very soon. She's been working on a little video game. So that's why she
What's
hasn't
that?
been able to come on
A
the show.
little
Finally
video
working on
game.
that Bubble Bobble sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Is that really a thing? Please tell me, because Bubble
It's
Bobble
actually-
is like
never
one of my
mind. I
favorite.
can't do that joke. Marisha,
Bubble
answer
Bobble
this first
sequel?
question
I know they've
to,
had
Get
sequels.
this terrible thing out of my mind.
Bubble Bobble, I
From
kid you not.
Kuti Patra.
One of the most popular games at the
Kuti
arcade
Petra.
in the lifetime of the business.
Cutie.
We still have the original Bubble Bobble in the arcade.
Kuti Patra.
How is Beau feeling about working for the gentleman?
Kuti Petra.
Does it align with her reasons for seeking him out in the first place, or was this not part of her plan?
Oh, she's so into it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she's with it. She's hip. Beau, as long as she makes friends in high places, she's happy because those friends are only friends for a certain amount of time until they're not.
Yeah.
Unless they still are, in which case, yay, friends.
That answer covered everything.
So great, right?
I love
Such
how
a good answer.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure if she's uncomfortably
Yeah, that Gelman
answering or
character seems
intentionally
interesting.
looking uncomfortable,
I'm
or both.
stroking my beard, thinking about him.
Just like a gentleman
Like a
would.
gentleman would.
I'm sure we
Love it.
barely just scratched the surface of
Oh,
the
yeah.
gentleman.
This giant
Oh,
bottle
yeah.
of whiskey
There's
is in my way.
definitely
I
some
can't
layers
see.
there with that character.
Putting this
Liam,
up.
Yeah.
Hain Jolly wants to know,
Pain Jolly.
how much are you enjoying watching Not attempt to investigate for traps and disarm them, or do you miss having that responsibility?
No, I don't miss having the responsibility at all. I'm really getting into the intricacies of being a wizard who fucks up constantly.
Because
But
he
I
was
love watching
obviously
Sam bring his magic
Vex.
touch to
Vex.
the class that I
Vex.
used to
Vex.
wear.
Yeah.
Because Sam is a comedic genius, and
Shimmy,
I'll get
shimmy,
paid back
shake.
for that later.
Because he's watching for
The
you.
sun is going down,
Sure,
so it's
for sure.
changing my lighting.
He's not missed an episode.
Yep. Puts his kids to bed at 5.
I just like seeing his spin on it.
Yeah.
I like seeing him drunkenly curse people out for asking him to check things,
Yep.
and
I dig
pretty
it.
great last
Not
episode.
one of my
Can I ask
favorite.
you a question?
yes.
How did it feel when he said that rogues are the worst class ever?
Oh, he was just trying to get my goat. It's fine. We all know that rogue is the best class. I wish I was rolling a rogue right now.
Heck yeah. Even Travis had a rogue shirt
I
on.
have said
Yep. There you go. Case
that when I
closed.
typically
closed.
played role-playing games,
Marisha, Tabaxi
like
took my girl once. to
video
know.
games, I would go with rogues.
That's a good one.
Good name.
The
Beau told
Tabaxi
Jester
took
to
my-
always take care of herself first. Is this an exception to her stance on selfish teamwork from the Caleb and Not versus M9 argument? That's Mighty Nine. Or complementary? Is this something Beau thinks should have been true for everyone or just Jester?
No. I think it's still true. What Beau was trying to say with that was that your selfishness in the team, or what I trust in, is your own self-preservation. Like, I trust in your own selfishness because Beau is going to trust that people are going to be inherently selfish. So it's
Has
when
that
you,
always been her worldview?
I think so.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's
I 100%
true
think so. And
in
that'll
real life
come
most
into
of the
play
time.
later.
I would say that most people
I think she sees selfishness as
selfish.
a way of survival, and that selfishness
in real
and
life, I would
survival
say
is
that
synonymous
more so than
to
not.
Beau. So if she can trust
Cheers.
in one thing in people, is their need to be selfish. And most people
Cheers. I have
are
one
going to want to
heavy-duty
make sure
shot.
that they don't get caught or killed in a mission. And when it kind of seemed like Caleb and Not did not have that same sense of self-preservation,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, if you're just totally on a fucking suicide mission, then that's a conversation to have.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, her whole point with that was that,
I get what she's saying. She's explaining it well.
you know, she can trust
It goes deeper than
untrustworthy
that.
people in the moment when they're working for the good of the group to make sure that individually
I
they don't get
completely
fucked
understood.
over.
She explained it very well.
So yeah, I think it's still, you can still look out for yourself,
And still care
and-
about others.
basically use a group.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You could, to sum it all up, what is going
There's
on?
no way he was watching.
Is this, what's his
This was
name?
not planned. There's no way
Manganiello
you were
again?
Watching. Or did you?
I heard someone called me a comedic genius.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
I thought it was Joe Manganiello again.
Sam Riegel's a comedic genius. I get alerts from everywhere. I have to call in.
What's up, sweet
Oh
pea?
my God, I love it.
God.
Sweet
We're in the
pea.
middle of it. We're in the middle of a show that you weren't
Yes,
invited
I wanted to
onto.
tell you that assessment of me is entirely accurate. Carry on.
Well, you did say you get paid back for it later.
I
You
love
didn't
that he
know it'd be
called
30
in.
seconds
I love that
later.
they showed he
Honey,
called
will
in.
you, honey, will
Honey.
you cover up my plate of dinner to keep it warm, and don't open up the best wine until I get there, okay?
Sure. But I'll be shaving my butt and balls for later.
Beauty doll right now.
Look at his face. He is too much. That is terrifying yet
right.
great. It's a great way to end that.
Something that happened.
That is something that happened. I love
Easy,
it.
crazy.
I felt my phone vibrating.
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
Like, oh,
It's
please
gotta
don't
be-
Joe. Please don't be Joe.
I thought it was going to
But
be
it was
Joe.
Sam. Next best thing.
I thought it was going to be Joe or Ashley, his wife.
Do you feel like you got
Sam
enough
is
time to
probably
answer
the
that
better
question?
of all of them.
Yeah.
I would have rather Joe only because I don't see Joe as much
Cuttlefish
as I see Sam.
333 wants to know. I feel like you always
That
do
was a
that
good
whenever they
voice.
ask this question. How does Caleb feel about Jester using
Sounds
zone
like
of truth
Gizmo.
on the party? Was it a good way to
Cuttlefish,
have an honest
333.
discussion, an invasion of privacy, or something else? How would Caleb have reacted if harder questions were directed his way?
Directed at Caleb or directed at Molly?
Directed it your way.
Oh, well, you don't know. No one knows
No,
what Caleb would
but Cuttlefish wants to know.
Right.
Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish is just going to have to wonder about that, I'm afraid.
But what about your
how did
feelings about
Caleb-
her using Zone of Truth in the first place?
Well, he doesn't have any experience with that spell. He's never witnessed it before. He was definitely
I'm just
all eyes
looking
and
at how
ears when it was
the
going
wire
down.
looks.
And nobody asked him any questions, so I guess it's fine.
Ask me no questions.
All eyes and ears
I'll
when
tell
it
you
was
no
going
lies.
down sounds like a Panic at the Disco song.
I could do that.
It does. Oh
I
my
can hang
God.
it.
It
I got a
really
hanger.
does.
Yeah.
Panic at the
man.
disco.
That was something
Fire in the
people
disco.
Steve Durr has a question for both of you. How, if at all, has your one-on-one moment with the DM, where everyone else leaves the table, changed the way you play your character? I was thinking of a different one-on-one moment with the DM that I had last week, but
For both of us?
Oh, gosh.
yeah,
Okay.
you're both.
Do we
welcome
answer?
to
We
this.
just going to answer this on the couch?
I am also wearing a Beau shirt.
Sorry,
One of
no,
my
wait a
favorite, if
minute.
not my favorite.
Well,
I say she's my
separately, but
favorite.
that's fine.
She could change, but she's my favorite.
It's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll go first because I don't think that mine really revealed anything even to the audience about the stuff that I'm keeping in behind the curtain.
So you would say it
Man
hasn't changed the way
behind
you
the
play the
curtain.
character.
No, it has not changed the way I play the character. It maybe gave him, I mean, this is going to mean nothing to anyone hearing the answer to this question, but it gave him a different outlook of looking at the same things.
Oh, I get that.
But
yeah, I understand that.
It seems pretty vacuous to someone who doesn't know what I'm
But you're
referring
saying
to.
that it maybe looking at the same elements, it gave him a different perspective on those same things that were in front of him.
Yeah, it changed his. God, I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, it changed his mood a little bit.
Okay.
That's all I can really
Okay,
say.
interesting. I definitely have sensed kind of a mood change. I think there's a question about that later that probably asks it a little better than I just did.
I'm vaguely confused on the question. Are we talking about in a meta sense?
Your solo.
Yeah,
But it
has
does
your
in a
one-on-one
meta
moment with
sense.
Matt where everyone leaves the table.
This
has
is
that
also on
changed the
normal
way you
speed,
play
by the way,
character at
guys.
all?
I feel like people said
I
do
would
normal
say
speed. I'm just going to
I
do
would
normal
say, I would say
speeds,
they
I
probably
guess,
mean in-game, yeah.
until
Yeah,
further
I mean,
notice.
Beau had
Calamity's
a complete
1.25. I
disregard
gotta
for
do
any
that.
type of respect towards authority. And Beau is the type where she's going to respect someone who takes a physical action or has some sort of
Little
dominant upper
Beau.
hand because
I
Beau
know,
likes
it's
to be
always there.
dominant.
I'm just excited about stupid things. That's not
We
stupid.
had this
but you know what I
conversation
mean.
the other
Silly
night. Like
things.
sometimes you like being put in check because then you're like, oh, sup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect that.
yeah.
I think Beau needed that. Beau is gonna constantly come in like a wrecking ball, and if someone can be like "fuck you," then she's gonna be like, ah, okay.
Yeah.
I have grounds to respect you now.
Some of my closest
That's how I feel.
friendships,
I agree. I concur. Even though that's her character,
crossed
she can do
that
whatever she wants.
threshold into being
I
a close friendship
agree with that
after someone
behavior.
called me out on something. Does that make sense? It was like I went, you know what? I like this. I like the iron sharpening iron in that way, and going like, I don't want to be around people that don't call me on my shit.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't always like a yes man.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
You know, I don't
That's
want someone who
fair.
always
That
agrees
I
with me.
employ already.
That's very fair.
I need
I agree with
extra
this.
ones in my life.
You want
Yeah.
criticism and stuff too.
it
You
keeps
want
us
to
on a
get
short
better.
If
leash.
you agree with me, you'll know.
Yeah.
If
Exactly.
if someone agreed with you with
Let's
everything,
give
you
away some
wouldn't
free shit.
strive
Should we
to
do
be
that?
better.
Not for free, surely not.
Striving to be, if
Each
you gotta have
week, we like to
criticism.
feature unique creations by you, the critters, including those epic gift making skills.
GIF of the
Up
week.
First, it's
So
GIF of the
giving.
week.
GIF of the week.
Gift of the week.
I love how it
You
matches
gift
every
of
time I
the
see it.
week.
The GIF of the week. Oh, and now we got Brian
We're back.
dancing.
Our winner for episode 15 of
interesting.
Campaign 2 was sent in by Scott Miller, not his real name, at Scott C_Miller, fake name. Let's take a look.
Yes.
Check for traps. Take a big swig of this shitty alcohol.
Such a good moment.
Another trap.
Oh my god, this is a long one. Oh,
That's great. I didn't notice Travis dipping out.
oh my god, this is by far the longest GIF.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
That is hilarious. That was great.
My favorite is the random.
I don't feel.
box.
Does that qualify? Like, what qualifies as a
Travis drops to the
GIF?
floor.
That's like a short
Congrats to
movie.
you,
That was
Scott
like a
Miller.
short film.
You have won this retro Critical Role poster.
Oh, there it is.
Who needs to hang around? I've got critical. We've seen that before.
Matt's leaning up against not a wall.
Against not a wall.
Fake wall.
An assistant pushing on his
Yeah.
butt.
Fake wall.
The Matt
Fuck
was holding him
yeah.
up. You can submit your gifts for our
Now that
weekly
the sun's
contest by
almost
emailing
completely
them
down, I
to
can
submit
readjust.
at talksmachina.com.
I love when they do that, the submit thing.
That's where you go to
Submit.
Submit.
It's pronounced Chubmit.
It's pronounced Schmidt. Moving on. For Marisha, this is from T_Jasper. Do you think Beau is warming up to Molly?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
say they're getting along.
Yeah, I think
Finally.
so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Molly's warming up to Beau.
That is
Yeah.
something I might
I
say.
think Beau might be warming up to Molly.
I think
Yeah.
Beau is acting.
Beau's one of those type where she's gonna immediately just hate anyone initially.
Yeah.
You're guilty until proven innocent with Beau.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She's got self-preservation. She's untrusting. Guilty until proven innocent.
We're really like the
An optimist.
Yeah, total optimist.
we're like the Partridge Family.
Yeah. In that you live in a bus.
I play tambourine.
Caleb
I
in
do
the tambourine.
That's like where the legs do it, you know?
Oh, sure.
Hey,
Yeah, it's good to see that, 'cause I have to
Mr.
black out my legs 'cause they're too
Tambourine Man.
Yeah, well, it's...
Liam, Little Gay Menace wants to know, at Little Gay Menace,
At
Gay
little,
Menace.
little gay
has
menace.
Caleb's opinion of Molly changed since his amnesia review?
Not really. He's still
I feel like my opinion's
He's
gotten
still,
worse about Molly.
like
Since
sticks
that.
out like a sore thumb, and he's still. Yeah, I mean, I know that Caleb can assume that he knows that he told the truth on the things that he said, but you can still work your way around that spell and not tell everything. And I don't know. Caleb is definitely like listening constantly to everybody, but he's not like digging
Yeah.
to find out what everyone's deep secret is. It's just as long as it's working in the short term, it's fine. So he's not thinking I'm going to be best friends with this guy. It's been a couple of days since he pressed his groin at my belly button against a cave wall, so that's good, I guess.
I mean, hopefully it'll happen again soon.
Yeah,
But
yeah, like every third episode tells him, and I
yeah,
work
at
that
least
beat
once
out.
a week or twice a week they say he's healthy.
Yep. So really, yeah, the only person who's
Yeah.
who his estimation of has changed recently is Beauregard's.
Interesting.
In this last episode.
In what way?
Well, there was a check where Caleb rolled a 1. I think I was in the middle of.
I think I know the
doing,
interaction he's talking about.
Detect magic. I was doing a ritual spell, and Matt had multiple people roll to do an Arcana check on something. I think I rolled a 1 or a 2, so he just pawned that off as, oh, you're focusing on the spell, didn't get it. But this one got it immediately, and
the magical symbols?
yeah. Which
What?
rolled a 16.
I rolled
rolled-
a 16.
I rolled a 16. Well, I didn't roll the highest, right?
You rolled a 16, I rolled an 18.
There you go.
How do you remember that?
I just had to watch his favorite critical recap.
She's something else.
And Matt
guys.
often rewards like the victory to the person who's at the highest, right? So Caleb didn't get it, which is totally fine. That's D&D. But what it meant is that she's not some street rat thug, but that she has had some sort of formal training or schooling.
Ah, there you go.
Something
I get what he's
substantial
saying.
to understand what's printed, because you don't like just becoming some rich kid who gets into bar fights.
Yeah.
Know all that. She's
Yeah.
been to school.
Interesting.
And I just a little check mark went boop on a box, but
You like school, you like books.
or something.
Someone's
yeah.
into those things.
Or something.
You're
She's
into
got
them.
some
I get it.
form of
Definitely
intelligence.
like something.
Caleb likes knowledge.
We're well aware.
Caleb
Hey guys,
loves
Little
knowledge.
Gay Menace would have been a much better Star Wars prequel.
So into that.
Would have been
Little
way
Gay
better.
Menace
Yeah.
instead of the
Marisha.
Phantom Menace.
At current 521 wants to know, is Beau aware of her constant, if terrible, flirting with any women they come across, or does it just sort of happen?
Speaking of, she's aware, yeah, and harkening back to kind of what I said
She
a
does
few
do
minutes
that
ago.
To Yasha a lot.
Beau likes being very dominant and in control. So she's into it. She's within
She's
him.
calling the shots there.
She's trying to call the shots
I understand.
as much as she can.
Yeah.
There was you know this. Is it Meisner that teaches statuses in scenes?
I don't know if that's
There's a
Meisner.
few. There's a few that teaches statuses.
I know that is a thing. Meisner I associate with repetition,
Oh,
which is two
always
people staring at
repetition.
each other and saying, "You have hair. You have hair.
You have hair.
You're sitting.
You have hair.
I have hair.
You have
Oh.
hair.
You opened your eyes wider at me.
You have hair.
You're sighing.
You have hair.
That's acting class there.
Yeah.
You did it. Go be a voice actor.
Yeah, Meisner. There's one of the
I've seen
methods
that before.
Teach us statuses
In, like, a show or a
scenes,
movie.
which is someone has to be a dominant and someone has to be subservient, and I've kind
I've
of
been
always
to some of those
liked
classes
that.
with Taliesin.
And
You guys wear the
Yeah.
leather also, or?
you know,
I had to wear all the leather, and then no one else in the class was wearing
Where
leather.
did I have seen
Yeah,
that
we
before?
like
I've
the
seen
little
that in a movie or
bone-shaped-
TV before,
Yeah.
where they had a
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
line and had
Move
they
on,
show all the
move on.
emotions.
Okay.
It wasn't you have
Corny
hair.
little baby doll dress. But
Really?
maybe that was just me.
Yeah. They were like, wait, so that's what acting class is like, really? Thank God I didn't. Yeah.
shit gets weird in acting class.
One of the things I will never forget my first week at NYU at the ripe old age of 18 in voice class and being on my back. I'm not going to do it, but I was on my back, right, just with like knees in the air, and you work on loosening out your diaphragm and
Is this
just
a pelvic thrust?
yeah, just going like, just doing this, and in my head thinking, okay.
The
this
pelvic
is how I
thrust.
learn to act.
There's for that.
Yep, don't do any of that stuff now.
No, not at all.
Max, text Arsqueef and make sure he's awake, because I'm gonna
Ars
need that
Queef.
gift,
I was told from my
Ars
voice,
Queef.
man, this is about to get dark.
Second
I was
or
told from
third
my
time he's
voice
come
and
up.
speech teacher
Since
that I
I've watched.
sucked, and my voice sucked in college.
Well, fuck that person.
And now I do voiceover for a living.
Yeah,
so
how do you
that's
like
funny.
them apples?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
a number.
She didn't like how I spoke in the back of my throat, and it had this like gravelly, bassy thing. And she was like, "Speak in the front of your mouth, like Adina Menzel. You speak up here." And she
Adina Menzel.
gave me. I got like a
Rent.
C
Dina
minus in that
Menzel
class.
over enunciates everything. You want
is-
Melissa Etheridge, man.
That is
Yeah,
one of the most
yeah.
common actor stories, though I've heard that 20 times. Like, this teacher told me that I
was terrible.
terrible, or I should get out, or I was the one because of my regional accent or whatever it is, I couldn't go anywhere, and that person going, poo.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Screw you. Bet that's what Freddie Prinze Jr. said. For Liam, wacky historian wants to know,
Oh, Freddie
how did
Prinze
you
Jr.
decide which spells to add in the level up? Did you base it on utility? What components Caleb might already have access to, RP or something else?
it's all RP reasons. There are 2 or 3
He said he's stacking
threads
things for a
in
reason.
his story that
said this
are
before.
deciding those spells, so it's all very deliberate.
Really?
And I know that because I get social media messages about it every day, that it's not like the optimal survive to the end cookie cutter thing. But anyone who's been watching the show, obviously, I don't give a fuck about that. So there is stuff under the surface that is why I'm choosing why I have chosen the spells I have, and why I'm choosing the spells that I am, and eventually, hopefully, that'll be clear.
Yeah.
So
He said this early on. I feel
Gotta
like in another Talks
leak the
Machina,
juice to them.
how everything
A little bit
he's
at a time.
doing has a
little
future
swords.
plan as far as
Yeah.
stacking spell.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you call it
read
stacking.
that
I'm just
somewhere.
using my terminology.
Dan Bailey Lewis has a question for both of
Dan
you. That's a
Bailey
serial killer name if I ever heard one.
Lewis.
There's always in threes.
Hitting the radiator, guys. We're about
Always in
halfway.
three.
About halfway.
I heard a thing today where
Not
someone
really.
said that
Probably a lot less than that.
most serial killers have like 11 or something. Huh? Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why 13 is an unlucky number. They have like 13 letters in their names.
Really?
I went through my whole
I've
name.
never heard that.
No.
What's John? J.
I'm safe.
M-A-S-C-E-R-S.
Yeah.
J-A-S-O-N.
Serial killer.
Ooh, that was close. I'm 12.
How nostalgic was it for you, Danny? You crossed out like.
Yeah, I'm 12. One off. But I love the number.
nostalgic
I
was
consider
it?
the number 13
Oh, it's on the
lucky.
screen.
Jason,
How
Friday the
nostalgic was it
13th.
like for you
Nightmare-
to fight a classic
that has
enemy
nothing to
like
do
the
with Nightmare on
gelatinous
Street.
cube? What other classic enemies do you hope come up? Owlbears? More beholders?
It was so cool. It was just the coolest.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't scared. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that Liam wishes that Frumpkin had been dissolved. I thought that would have been great.
Yeah.
Caleb would have been very pissed off.
Matt and I realized
Owl bears.
maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I
when
know
we were too high
beholders. I've
level
seen
in Vox
beholders and
Machina
stuff
to fight
growing up a
gelatinous
lot.
Cubes,
But
that the
owl
gelatinous
bears?
cube
I feel like
mini
I've seen that
opens up,
once.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
can put
yeah.
minis
Put a
inside of
mini
it.
Maybe
That's
once.
sweet.
And Matt and I were just like, oh, like in our living room, like putting different minis in
Yeah,
it, like
seeing
it
what
made
fit.
any
Yeah.
difference to just be like, so I know he's been waiting for a long time to just put a mini
Waiting
inside
for
of
a
a mini,
long,
and then he
long
didn't get to do that.
I have about 7 of that miniature because I have a problem.
Of the
as
gelatinous
well.
cube mini?
Yeah, because
Whoa.
it's a common, if you buy a lot of boxes from Wizards of the Coast, it's one of the big ones that comes in the box, and I buy.
They do a grab bag.
Before the show, he was setting up. the
I
map
like
when
how
you guys weren't
Liam
on
has
stage.
just accepted his
because
addiction. He's and I buy
he had that
a
cube
lot.
out, and it
I
looks
have
like
30
one
of
those
them
whiskey
because
ice
I
cubes
buy
that you put in your,
everything
you know, drink
20
to make it-
times.
And so I was like, "Oh, is this a little thing for your whiskey?" And he's like,
Wizards of the Coast. I gotta look at their stuff.
"Go away."
I feel like you guys have
my
told me
dad
It was like
Dwarven
that party
Forge.
for Resident Evil
Wizards of the Coast, I guess,
6
does
at
those kind of
Comic-Con
stuff.
Back in the day, they had those little light up cubes.
Oh my god, I can't
Yeah.
believe you remember that.
did, I barely knew you at that point.
Was that the party where there were sexy girls dancing on pillars?
I mean, that's most San Diego Comic-Con parties,
That's
but
true.
it is true. They were zombie
Like
sexy
go-go
girls.
dancer girls.
That's right.
That's right.
I think that was before. I think that was before D&D.
That, I think it was.
Yeah, if it was Resident Evil 6, it definitely.
Yeah, I didn't know you for shit
I,
at that
I feel
point.
like I remember us
Know
getting a
you for
picture on
shit.
the step and repeat.
Yes. Yeah.
And but we had like just met each other.
Yeah, I didn't know you for shit.
Oh,
That's
baby
that's
friends.
weird. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Good times.
Now we're buddies.
Now we're both. Well, let's give away some more free shit, and then we'll continue. Our next
Now we're
giveaway is
boobies.
for you fans that create and send in incredible
This
art
is,
and moments during Critical Role.
Shit of the week.
So much. So much. Tonight's is crazy good. It's fan art of the week.
Fan art. Shit of the week. I just said that. I'm not knocking fan art.
Oh, Brian, your punishment will be more severe.
Bane. I was like, I know that.
This is your ally. This week's fan art winner was sent in by Amy King.
They're usually
AKA
actually really well done. The last one or the one before that was
Separate
phenomenal.
Me.
Well, they're all good, but
Let's take a look.
Oh.
Yes, I was hoping it was this one.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
that
Jester
looks like
flipping the bird
Swamp
and
Thing or
that statue.
Cthulhu.
Love it.
Yeah, see, most of these are really well done.
So much detail.
Good everybody looks.
I make
There's a
that Caleb
couple
face
that you
about
could
40
purchase
times
that
a
I've
day in
almost
my
bought.
personal life.
I think I would have bought one if I didn't buy the Ford
So
action
much
figure.
detail,
I was
yeah,
buying one or the other.
Jester.
Look at
A lot of them, there's a lot of
Look at
fan
those,
art type things
fingernails
online for
dwarves.
sale.
Jester's so cute.
Thank you very much to
don't see it.
everyone who submitted.
That reminded me
Congrats
of Pirates
to
of the
you, Amy. You
Caribbean.
have won this Black Poisonwood Hero Vault from our friends at Wormwood. Blink. You can put your mini in here, you can put some dice in there, some spice in there. It magnetizes closed.
What do they mean when they
Make
say
sure to
mini?
check out
You could
Wormwood
put your mini
on
in there.
Twitter
Do they
at
mean
Wormwood
your
Gaming and on their
character?
wormwoodgaming.com. A
Your
reminder for those
mini?
submitting,
I'm assuming they
please
mean your
include how
mini.
you'd like to be
How do
credited
you
with your
create a
little
mini?
at or your
I want to do
whatever
one, guys.
tumbler
I don't know if
you
that's a
win.
thing you could do,
And
but I
just
want to do it.
reminder
How do you create a
that
mini?
our
How do you do
giveaways
it?
are currently only available to people in the U.S. and Canada, excluding Quebec.
I personally asked for that.
Like, there's got to be a place
You're
that
like,
manufactures
Quebec. I
miniature
refuse.
figurines, I'm
I
assuming.
refuse.
Yeah, I got food poisoning.
Unless
in
you just
Quebec.
buy one that
Fuck
you
guys.
want
You
to
buy
mimic
your
your
own
character.
wood. We love you, Quebec. What I love is the juxtaposition of this moment, and then on Thursday nights when Matt has to do the announcement, he's like, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's excluding Quebec. Sorry,
Matt's
guys.
always
We'll try
very
to whatever on this show."
apologetic.
We're like, fuck Quebec.
Yeah.
They don't
Very.
deserve this shit.
I've gotten a few tweets from people being like, if you're in Quebec and if you know someone in another district, can you like submit on their behalf and then get it? And I'm like, I mean, how much do you trust your friends?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
but like,
It's technically
Hey, man,
theirs.
That Wormwood you won definitely never came in.
Technically, if you do that, it's
All right,
their
cool.
shit.
I'll see you at D&D this week. Actually, I joined another group.
Everybody dance. Dance time.
Shows
Dance,
up with
dance.
all this fucking shit.
The sun is going
All
down,
right,
and it's Saturday
let's
night,
go
and I don't
with this
gotta work for
question
2
for
days.
Marisha from Ed
That's
Carr
what I'm saying.
101.
That's my song.
What was Beauregard's first thought when puncturing the cube and her hand going numb? Was she at all concerned to keep attacking?
no. Beau is still in that adolescent phase of
Figure it out
I
later.
know, I'm not gonna die.
Yeah,
This bad
figure it out
thing can't
later.
happen to me. Car accidents,
Yeah.
drunk driving accidents, psh, I'm fine. So no, Beau had zero concerns. She
Very
tries
true.
to live without concern.
Very
Yeah.
true.
I'm sensing a theme.
I remember when I was younger,
Seems quite carefree.
people would be like, aren't you afraid that when you get into
Liam,
bar fights all the
Frankelstein
time, you're not going to be able to
wants to
work
know,
the next
how
day?
did it
And
feel
that
to
never
completely fuck
entered my
Matt?
mind ever. I'm like, no, I'll go to work the next
And
day. I
is
don't care
trapped
how
with a
banged up
gelatinous
I am.
cube with a giant
Now I'm
cat
like,
paw.
Ended it strong.
I can't hurt myself
I
because
tried,
then
but
work's going to
standards and
suck the
practices.
next day.
that-
I think about everything now.
Sorry, Quebec.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I've been looking forward to as a heavy magic user, and one of them has been
Fucking Matt.
Screwed up Matt.
with
Yeah.
any, I mean, bard, cleric, you know, Path of the Duck, especially Path of the Duck.
yeah.
Path of the Duck for the fuck.
Yep.
Has been control spell and changing, because like Vax had a couple things that
What
he did
was
well,
it called?
and one of them was
Maximilian's?
stabbing. So
Ah,
as a wizard, you've
Maximilian's
got so much shit that you
cat
can do,
paw
and
hold or
it's,
something like that?
Going through flip, 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 like the sign at Grand Central Station that just changes the
Yeah.
letters really quick. I'm going through all the things, and I know I'm gonna fuck it up constantly, but there's so many options.
Yeah.
So it was fucking cool.
Heck yeah.
Fuck it up. Yeah, fuck it up. The more you fuck it up.
Oh my God.
I know, it is fun.
Yep.
Marisha. Poffle
Now
Swap
the question should
wants
be,
to know,
as the wife of Matt
Poffle
Mercer,
swap.
how much did Matt hate
Are
that?
these, is the wording on here blurry or is
Baffle
something
swap.
happening to my eyes?
No, it,
Baffle slap.
the
printer had a problem?
The printer's having a hard time.
I literally was sitting here going, I don't know if I know how to read anymore.
Brian's going blind.
Bring back, yeah, at Little
He's
Game
literally
Menace.
going blind. I've
You
asked you
seem
guys things like that on
conflicted
live
over
stream
whether to
before.
heal gesture
Like, am
or
I
to
going
attack.
blind? I can't
Are
read.
the Nine's distinctive
But I have
lack
no
of healing
excuse. I really am
capabilities
going blind.
becoming a concern, particularly in regard to consecutive combat encounters?
I mean, to them or to us as players?
That was for Marisha.
Yeah, you son of a
I guess
bitch.
I'll
Wait,
go
what?
with that.
Kidding.
Buffle Slop wants to make sure he's got proper
But we
people
can
answering
answer
this.
I'm
together.
joking.
With a name like Boffle Slop,
Just do the cat spell.
Oh no. Oh no.
Laura has the cleric, so she has healing spells.
Right.
But there's some potions floating out there. I remember there's
Sure.
some other obviously intrinsic healing abilities. You guys aren't super heavy on.
I feel like it wouldn't be us if we didn't have a fragile healing system at best.
Yeah.
Because before this, it was Ashley, and then it was just me or Sam
Yeah.
covering the blinks, and now it's
Yeah.
Jester. Which
I've
is
got to say
great,
though, that's
but
my
Jester
style of play.
has
I've told you
clearly
guys
stated that
before,
she
where I
fucking
just
hates
go in
healing.
guns
Yeah.
blazing and I figure
So
out the
think
rest later.
The rest of us are
So
trying to make
healing
sure that
it
we can at least get
Isn't
people
really
up
on
when
my
they're down.
priorities list
I mean, it
usually.
just is what it is,
Till I
man.
need it.
You know,
It isn't a
we're the
thing
group
till I
that
need it.
formed, and they don't want to die, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a campaign that's all rogues or all bards. You can do that. That's a thing. So, I mean, I know it's cool to have a fighter and a magic user and a healer and balance it all out, but I don't know. I mean, Matt is.
I agree.
about as good as
I
it gets
see,
for
like,
Dungeon
people
Master,
used
and
to
I feel
tell
like
me when we
he
play like
sets
WoW and stuff like
challenges
that, you
that
always
are,
gotta
you
have
know,
like
challenging.
characters I
to
didn't
us
want
without
involved
being
just because, well, you need this, you need
ridiculously
that.
vindictive.
You don't have to
So-
do anything. It might make it
say-
easier.
I don't know. I mean, as Liam, I guess, like, yeah, another healer would be nice, but Caleb is not thinking like, oh my gosh, we are not balanced correctly to go into the sewers.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I think that's what I think we've had ingrained in us from like MOBAs. And
I
other
feel like all
RPGs
my
that, like,
teams
you need
were
a
always
healer
built around
in
a
your
specific
party,
strength, and that was probably usually
so we feel
offense.
that way.
so I would always
But there are
get high
fun
armor class, high
exceptions.
offense kind of things.
And I'm
That's why
glad.
Usually didn't
ARAM was
involve
always great.
mages.
League of
Usually didn't
Le-
involve
League of
priests or
Legends.
clerics or
League
anything
of
like that.
Legends.
Legends.
I'm glad Jester is with them.
Yeah,
We're better off to have her,
Yeah.
for sure, even if she swears as she heals us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yep.
It's kind of enduring.
It
Yep.
is.
Yep.
Enduring and endearing.
Endearing.
Enduring.
Which did you mean to say?
I lost. Yeah, I was
And
unconscious.
she just shakes her
That's my
head.
favorite one.
I don't know if Marisha was just not
Side guy
answering
60
or
wants to
just
know,
nodding.
Were you always going to skin Maximilian's Earthen Grasp as a
Ah,
cast
Maximilian
or was
Earthen's
that
Grasp.
an in-the-moment decision?
No, that was not in the moment.
It was Maximilian's
when I
Earthen
was
Paul,
choosing
wasn't it?
which
Grasp?
transmutation magic to level up into. I saw that one and thought it was okay, but we got a lot of mileage out of a big hand in the last campaign. And since Caleb is so fond of his feline friend, I thought that it just made sense.
I thought it did too. I thought it was specifically because of
Satisfied with that
Frumpkin.
answer.
I am satisfied with that
For
answer.
both of you, this
I
is from
thought it
Tony
made
Stark
perfect
73.
sense.
How challenging did
Tony
you guys
Stark?
find working on the School of Magic-based puzzles? Did you
Stark.
find it easy, hard, or about the same level of difficulty to what Matt made you try working on during pre-stream of Campaign 1?
Before campaign 1.
Yeah.
Well,
Were there a lot of puzzles in the home game?
I
There was the
don't
one from our
know.
very first game that Tal'dorei just sort of hit with his elbow like Fonzie and broke it.
Yes.
Which was
talking
awesome.
about the ice breath situation?
Yeah, it was like this big hydraulic puzzle, and Talison's one-game Dragonborn cleric? Paladin?
Paladin.
I think it was a rogue. Spit ice on the water and froze the hydraulics and just broke it.
Whoa.
So he just did a little sidestep. The
Yeah.
only other puzzles I'm remembering was there was the sort of the kids' IQ puzzle, which was a square broken up into little pieces and scattered, and we had to get it back into a square.
I thought he was
That
talking
took an
general,
embarrassing
like
long
real
amount of
life.
time.
Yeah, a lot of the adults took about 20 minutes to
Yeah.
solve that.
I mean, in our defense, Gandalf the Grey sat in front of a fucking magic door for at least an hour before he got help from a halfling to solve that shit.
Saying the word. What was the
Yeah,
word?
that's true.
Yeah, you know what you know.
What was the
You're
word?
good at what you're good at.
In Lord of the Rings, what did he speak?
That's
He
right.
spoke open
Language,
in
yeah.
Elvish.
They
Was it? What was
accidentally
it?
came up
He had to
with the
speak
answer.
something?
Gandalf didn't even say it out. Like it feels like a little bit of a misstep on Gandalf's part.
Yeah.
Too much emphasis on Gandalf.
Yeah.
He was old
Motherfucker
and tired.
is immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite
There you go.
in-game puzzle was the go fishing game from the Honey Heist. It took me an hour and a half to do with a stupid bear glove on.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is
Back to
some
that all the time, you trying
NES,
to, like,
original
chase
NES
around
game
the pink
that I
fish.
spent lifetimes on
I haven't played that
playing.
game in
Not
30 years.
lifetimes.
I
I'm not that
still love
old.
the black and white photo that came with that
400.
moment with hairy hands coming
Yeah.
in. It was like a Yoko Ono art installment.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, you,
Oh,
Liam.
man, that's so true.
Is this too loud,
Yoko
guys?
Ono art installment. Oh my God. Hey, it's better than. It's
I might
better
have this
than
way
one of
too
her
loud.
Audio art installments.
I'm going to
that's
turn
for
it
sure.
down a little just because I just
Sounds like
realized.
someone's choking out, like a
Let's just
emu or something.
Leave that up to our collective imagination.
Yeah, exactly. Marisha, labeled dinosaur wants to know.
Labeled dinosaur.
Label your
I can't believe I already
Label
drank
your
all my
dinosaur,
liquor.
spade and
I need a
neuter them.
goddamn shot.
Beau has seemed pretty separate from magic up to her encounter with the symbols. Does she have any great interest in the subject, or was that more of an opportune moment in the story? Does she have any great interest in magic, or was it just, well, let's figure this out,
How to answer this correctly?
Totally,
Oh.
fully. All cards on the table.
All cards.
She has to answer. She has to answer it in a way where she doesn't spoil shit. Now,
You know
I'm gonna go
how
dark. I'm dark now.
Your dad as a
Hello.
kid is like I want to teach you this. I want to teach you how to change
There
your
we go.
oil.
Oh, there we go.
Because
That's my
someday you're
favorite
gonna have
kind
to
of
change
look.
your oil, and you're like, "Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna take it to AutoZone.
Right.
I'm gonna be fine." And then one day you're like, "I don't have $80.
Yeah.
I need to change my oil."
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, "Thanks, Dad." I feel like it's kind of like that. Like, why do I have to take Latin? Oh, I have.
Perfect
Oh,
sense.
because it's a curriculum requirement.
Yeah, it's like in school, you go, when am I ever going to
So
need
she
this?
learned this
And then,
by
know.
default,
Now it's here.
begrudgingly.
I took Latin in high school.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
How?
She begrudgingly
They
learned
didn't
this, and now
offer
it came in
Latin my
handy.
high school. I would have totally taken it. I took
They
Spanish
didn't.
1 4 times instead.
Yeah, I had to take Spanish.
I had a
bet.
They did not
boyfriend,
teach
like,
anything
bail
but
out of a
French
date
and
because
Spanish.
He said he had to go
I don't think they
study for
maybe
a
German,
Latin
oddly
test,
enough.
And then turns out he never took Latin.
Um,
Don't fucking smirk at that.
I can tell
behind
you.
the scenes.
I can tell you.
You say a classy hat?
Let's just say he wasn't
He
the
said
one
he had
for
to
you.
go study for Latin, and then I was like, "Did you ever take Latin?" I asked him like 5 years later, and he's like, "I never took Latin."
He
I was
said,
like,
I have to
"You
go
fucking
study.
dick."
He said, I have to go study a Latin.
There you
And he
go.
went to the strip club.
You misunderstood.
Why better?
He was going to a Catholic school.
Oh,
He was
Jesus
betting heavy
Christ.
on Catholic, on Latin.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna be an exorcist. I'm gonna need this.
I'm gonna need to learn Latin. I was like, yeah, sure. And then 5 years later, I was like, you left because you said you had to go study for Latin. He was like, I never took Latin. I was like,
Oh my God.
don't fucking tell me that.
Dude, well, let's just say you're better off. And if you're watching, guy,
Now that too many embarrassing stories coming out tonight.
There's we're getting pretty personal. My God,
we'll let it all fly.
let it all fly.
Liam, Danik _Hey wants to know. I've noticed that Caleb is talking a lot more lately. This is the question I referenced earlier. Voicing his opinions and making decisions and suggestions for the group. Was it your decision to suddenly get his more involved vocally, or did it just happen with the magic of improv?
Yeah, it's intentional. It's
Okay.
an intentional choice, story-wise, that has reasons.
Hashtag reason.
I figured so much. I know that's very important, but we've already talked so much
Never
about
shares
Caleb that I already
anything,
assume this is the case.
Manly, buttoned everything up, never shows his emotions.
Manly butt.
Yeah. Yep.
Manly butt.
Marisha.
Manly butt.
Yeah.
Neil Bryan too wants to know, you seem to be getting better at dealing with the others, even acknowledging a good burn. Do you think this is because of Ford's help, or simply that Beau is getting to know the group and is becoming more comfortable in their company?
The latter.
Yeah, I think so
There
too.
is a ladder.
Done.
Okay,
Leave
Liam.
it there.
The
VBlaze1421 wants to know, does Caleb recognize or
I like how
question
she
for
just
George
brushed that right
Torres's
off, like
arcane
no
power?
more.
Question it?
Yeah, does he recognize or question that arcane power?
For
He
Taurus, I love it.
recognizes it and does not question it. We live in a world where deities put their thumbprint on the world around us, and fire shoots out of people's hands,
For
and cats poof
Tauruses.
in and out of existence. So I don't think Caleb hasn't seen this much amazing shit in this frequency anytime recently, but so he's clearly with. I think Caleb, one thing I can say is like Caleb is looking at this group of weirdos that he's with and thought like maybe some of them will have some aptitude.
Yeah, I was
it's
like,
a
I know
D&D
there's a
campaign, right?
crack in there.
Everyone's magic and special, we know that. But if you take it as someone entering like a group of mercs or idiots banding together, there's a lot of weird shit in this small group of people. So yeah, it's totally real. And he thinks that he doesn't think that Liam and Caleb does not trust Ford / Travis to be like neutral good cowboy. He's spit salt water out. I mean, there's shit going on under the hood there, and he clearly has got
Under the
emotional
hood.
power.
Was that an intentional
that
pun?
he
Because that was good.
Seems confused by. It seems like maybe it was ill-gotten or mistakenly gotten, which is very different than Caleb's experience, but
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah.
He sees it.
Yeah.
Sees all of it.
It's actually a fascinating point that I don't know if I've ever made the connection that in D&D everyone is fantastical and privileged and gifted
In the party.
in
yeah.
the party. But I think we're all trying to play them like people still discovering that,
That's right.
and maybe that can lead to some dissonance.
Yeah, I think with the makeup of Vox Machina is different from this group because not only were the origin
definitely agree
stories
with
a
that.
little simpler when we made them because we weren't thinking of origin stories, we just got together. But they come across as a little more like normal folk thrust into greatness, whereas everyone in this group seems like
I would
some
agree with
sort
that
of,
wholeheartedly. It was very
circus carny, not just Molly. Like everyone seems touched by fate in some way, and that's clear to everybody, to all of us.
There was someone who
because
asked
it
on
was
Twitter
intentionally
who
done
they
so, as
added
he
me,
said.
like a while ago, maybe like 2 months ago, and they were being very genuine in their question. They were like, genuine question: why would anyone play as a human in D&D? Just curious.
Yeah.
And then before I could respond, someone in the critter community responded very aptly, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
You could
they
be
responded with,
who you can't be in real life.
some people like playing as ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances.
Right.
That
Right.
And I was like,
100%.
Yes. Something you
That's-
can never do in a
yeah,
human
that's it.
life,
Yeah.
And I
you'd
think
want to
that's
do in a
fascinating
fantasy
and-
realm.
and
I
very
agree.
engaging.
Like, say you were
to
like,
some people.
I can't be a
You know,
girl.
it can be, like as
So I'm gonna
someone
go do
who went
that
from
in
being a
D&D.
half-elf, all-powerful druid.
I'm not
whose
saying
whole
I want to, I'm
backstory
just
was
saying
that she
that's
was
like a
basically
very
prodigy
blunt
who
way
could
of putting it.
manipulate nature, to someone who's basically a human who punches things.
Yeah.
Very, very fucking well.
Yeah.
I think it's part of what makes what made Percy so fascinating in the last campaign is he came from money, but his brain didn't come from money, and so he's able to do these amazing things because he.
I don't know what I see. I could definitely play a human. I'd play a human, girl or boy.
And Caleb are
Anything.
just
Like, I
schmoes. They
don't think
have
I
any-
don't think it
they
mattered
weren't
to
born
me.
with,
But I think I'd
horns
prefer
or any kind of like
some
arcane,
ridiculous race,
demonic
like a
ancestry or
tiefling,
anything.
kind of
Just
like
people
Molly or
who,
something.
like, who just put their nose to the grindstone and learn something.
Yeah.
And are trying to pull themselves out of whatever bullshit they're in.
Yeah, they're.
I just
we're the
feel
Black
like I'd
Widow
want to
of
be
the
something
Avengers.
more outside the realm of what I'm used
was
to
reminded
or
of
I've
this quote.
seen. Like I see
on my phone.
men and women all day.
It's fine.
Whether or not I'm one, I've
It's
never.
At least
I don't
your
see
genes caught
tieflings
it. Oh wait.
when I go outside. I want to see. I want to be something totally mysterious.
Right through the
Oh
genes.
God, what happened to my jeans?
Oh,
Goodness
what
gracious.
happened?
That's what you get for playing with a lawnmower.
She's
Matt
got
and
a
I
very
talk about imposter syndrome a lot.
unique laugh.
Not a lot, but we've talked about it several times.
Yeah.
And David Milch has this quote where he says, "So much of the accomplishment in
I
art
ran out of
comes
all my
not from the
beverages."
discovery of one's gift, but from its acceptance." And I think that's kind of the same thing as you realize. It's not just that everyone's going to be gifted, because everyone will be gifted in a D&D campaign. It's just a matter of in what ways. But the
Accepting it.
discovery and the acceptance of that gift is the process that you look forward to. That's what's so cool about levels, is that you only get a certain amount of things at a certain amount of time, and it caps to a certain extent
Sure.
what you can do, and hopefully you're all, obviously leveling up at the same time. But to me, what comes from that in a character sense is so much more interesting.
Yeah.
And how you
Yeah.
guys
I feel like
respond
I would be
to
more
what happens
interested in
when
learning
you get
others
something new, or you find
than
something
having
else,
them
or someone else
discover
becomes super
me, but I
powerful
think
and
that's
you're kind of still behind,
kind
or
of
whatever it is.
the point.
But the idea of extraordinary people doing extraordinary things, I mean,
I would still
it's
put
human nature.
I
for
would put together a crazy
some
story.
select to want to gravitate.
I just
towards
feel
that,
like
because
Yeah.
it's
I
not
would be
necessarily
really curious what
escapism,
everyone
but
else
it's
is doing.
definitely wanting to keep one foot in reality and one foot in fantasy to a certain extent, because the two of those things coming together is so fascinating, and that itself is its own interesting fantasy.
Do you want to go first?
You go.
Our group is particularly theater troupy, so I feel like even things like feats and what we choose at level 4 and at those moments, everybody's picking something, not like what will make me the most powerful, but like what will tell an interesting
The best
moment
tale
in this character's story. Especially like with Keyleth in the last campaign, a lot of her story was told with choices that were made.
Yeah, you want to blow minds
there was
with
something else I
what
forgot
could
to say.
be
No,
held in the mysteries of this character.
there, because it's very self-serving to me. So, sorry. I was just going to say, I feel like in Disney movies we see that dichotomy a lot. I feel like in Disney movies, you almost have like a few choices. It's the protagonist who discovers their power within them that was there the whole time.
Yeah.
And discovers what was always there. Or the opposite, which is you can rise above what you were built to be and become something else.
Yeah.
I often find Disney to be very confusing with what it's actually telling us as a lesson, because I'm like, wait, am I supposed to rise above?
I have gone through this rabbit hole as well.
Inherently good at?
If you look at it from different
like
perspectives,
the Moana circumstance where it's no, this is what you've been good at, embrace it, and you can take that and rise towards it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a dichotomy that you get a lot with characters in fiction, is embracing or rising above.
Not everyone's going to have the traditional hero's journey, because that would be boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
If everyone had that.
well,
same
yeah,
arc,
of course,
right?
of course.
Yeah, I think that's what was so fascinating about, oh Jesus, here we go, about Scanlan the last.
Here we go
campaign.
about
My arm's gonna go off again
Scanlan.
'cause we mentioned him.
Oh,
Just don't call him
I hope
Lady
Sam
Junior.
calls. Please call Sam.
There's no comedic timing.
He's a creative
No
paperweight.
heart.
Yeah, he's whatever.
Yeah.
He's fine, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope he calls.
Fine.
It's always looking upstage for some reason.
Well, yeah. And I love
around, man, the
I love
cameras.
him trying to get the last bit of wine out of the flask every week.
Shake
now.
it. Oh, he's definitely going to call now.
Justify it.
They're talking about him
Like,
way
it
too
gets
much. He's
caught in
definitely
the
calling.
corner.
The corners.
Yeah,
I'd be
like,
shocked if
it's
he
behind.
doesn't
No,
call.
we didn't think you were
No,
just
we're-
doing a dance, you dumb
My
shit.
favorite
Oh,
moment
you
of the last
dumb
episode was
shit.
just him. I'm gonna paraphrase. I can't remember what he said, but it was just like, what the fuck is the matter with you? I just love his little drunk ass goblin.
I know.
So
I do
adorable.
too.
I was wondering
It's the
if
point.
he was actually
He
drunk
is
or not,
most enjoyable.
but it was
That's
probably
what I've
fun.
said all the time.
Nobody gets drunk around here, guys.
I say,
Our last question of the night comes from Barbara
Last question of the night.
Octaviani.
Octaviani.
Octaviani. That's a beautiful name.
Octaviani.
On a scale of
I wanna
it's all
say it.
good to sweating bullets, how concerned are you about
Barbara
the upcoming fight
Octaviani.
with whatever
Yeah,
it is that
Octaviani.
came out of the floor?
I am hopeful
this is what I've been waiting for
that
the
there is
entire
a way
time.
to talk our way out of it, into it or with it, whatever isn't needed. Because, I mean, Caleb's pretty tapped. He doesn't have a lot left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used up some.
And this dude already said he took
Oh,
out a
no.
bounty hunter
Especially
and
on
lost
that
his
learning boner
legs.
at the last second.
Yeah.
The learning boner.
Yeah, Learning
got-
Boner was the name of a show I pitched to Geek and
They,
Sundry at Mauritius.
I went back and watched it, guys.
was like,
They
think
did
of
a lot of
Reading
talking
Rainbow,
about the
except
erection he
learning
got from
boner.
Don't
the
blame
book.
me,
The
blame
learning
legal.
boner, we'll call it.
Wow.
Hashtag
The
blame
judge
legal.
gets sick of that after
Yeah.
a while.
The learning boner.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Are you
I
guys?
hope I don't get in trouble for that tomorrow.
You won't. No one upstairs watches this show.
That's true.
They don't.
Yeah, once again, Beau, I think, is like, this is fine, although
I think it's funny that he constantly mocks
I
his
mean,
show.
Beau mentioned
I find
so
it
feel
like
I'd be
a
remiss
treat.
if I didn't say it.
Yeah.
That I was kind of afraid that it might be like some sort of amalgam of all of the spell schools
Right.
dropping from the ceiling, like some
Could be.
necromantic elemental insanity
Yeah.
that's gonna
That
try
could
and
be
eat
it.
her face.
It could also just be the author of that book, Sif Jurgensen.
Yeah.
Jurgensen?
Sif Jurgensen.
Jurgensen. I'm pretty sure it's
It's
Jurgensen.
Sif Jurgensen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun
Oh,
of him
like
stuttering
his
because I do it
little
all the
Jeff
time.
Hader.
Pet experiment Frankenstein monster? Is that what you
No,
think
like
it's gonna
writer of the journal. Couldn't it be?
be? Yay!
Yeah. It could also.
Oh wait, you think it's gonna be him incarnate?
It could be.
I was
It
thinking it
could
was
be.
gonna be his monster, like a
It could
Frankenstein's
also be
monster.
that. It could be Vecna's
Ballsack.
grandson.
Vecna.
Sure,
How
Ballsack.
crazy is that? We're
Vecna's
talking about
ballsack.
Vecna
Who
in
knows?
Yep.
Vecna's ball
Is there any
sack.
for that?
We're literally talking about Vecna's curse
It's,
in Stranger
it's very
Things
rare.
Did you guys
season 4 right now.
that one night
This
for
is like
hours and
years
Matt got
ago.
excited about using it in this
He
campaign?
custom
When is
made
this?
that mini.
Oh boy.
I question all of its existence.
4
Wow,
years
looking in the
ago.
mirror for like 2
Almost
hours
to the
modeling
day.
clay.
Yep.
4
Yep.
years ago,
I was like,
Vecna.
where did all
It
these
said it was a
things come
Dungeons and
from?
Dragons
So
thing.
weird.
It's research, babe.
Matt, you have got to get on this show more so we can stop molesting your pillow and talking about your
I know.
nose.
Yeah.
Where is the
Oh.
pillow? I did have it last on Thursday.
You didn't take it home.
You had it
I'm not
last.
saying.
Oh my God, how
Guys,
funny is
we're
that?
Over our time. Before we go, I just have to publicly ask Marisha. I took a couple of lifesavers from your office earlier. I hope that's okay.
Oh my God.
You didn't take the key that we've taped above our
Nope.
light switch.
The Mac key? No, I left
No,
those
yeah,
there.
no.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, folks, on whatever this was. Stick around for Talks Machina, I Know What You Did Last Summer edition. I would like to hashtag thank my guest, courtesy this week of @IreneLPen. Cube ate yo kitten.
It's not true.
Monk shit for days. Yeah.
Monk
and I'm
shit
your
for
host,
days.
Paddling way faster.
Paddling way fast. I like
Critical
that.
Role
I actually
Campaign
kind of
2,
like that.
Episode 16 airs this week.
I'm going to watch it in about 30 minutes.
Until then, don't forget to love each other. And don't worry, it's almost Thursday. Stay turnt, my friends.
Sure.
All right, guys, that's Talks Machina, episode 15, campaign 2. I know I didn't do the after hours. We're trying to keep the videos under an hour based on the new content policy by Critical Role. I don't want to extend over that too much. So I figure if I cut out the intro and I cut out the after hours, we're down to an hour. Maybe what I'll do is, I've said this before, but maybe what I'll do is I'll do the after hours in a separate video. I just want to try to keep everything to a minimum so that I don't raise any flags or create any problems. So I was thinking we were going to talk a hell of a lot about the end of episode 15. We end up not bringing it up until the very, very end of Talks Machina. Their answers were interesting. She said, being Marisha, aka Beau, she said, what if it's not Sif? What if it's Frankenstein's monster kind of thing and he created something? Whatever she was thinking, she's not thinking it's Sif. I'm just assuming it's the obvious and that's Sif. I don't know if it's really Sif. I don't know if it's him in some ghosty form. I've got to assume, here's my thoughts. They were reading in the book. When I went back and rewatched the end of episode 15, they read in the book something to the effect of, does the soul cling to the body? When you kill the soul or when you kill somebody, does the soul cling to the flesh or to the body, or does it just go off and it has no care whatsoever? Something to that effect. I think it was Jester made a comment saying something like, is that what all the will-o-wisps things were? What all the urns? There's urns all over. We have found more, I believe, in this room. And I think even Talzin was saying, like, should we go around and break all the other urns before something happens? That is probably why something happened. The temperature dropped and then the spirit rose. I feel like he is doing some sort of insane magic. There was probably some kind of summoning circle. It said there was something with the bracers where the book looked like it was coming from where the bracers were. There was some sort of ash, and then the sword was the warning to the people. So we took the sword off the wall. That was the warning of the defeated bounty hunter. So all we really got out of them was a whole lot of nothing. They don't even probably know, though. They're basically telling us what they think it might be. There isn't a whole lot of answers they could even give us because they're going in just as blind as us. Even Sam was like, oh my God, what? You can't stop here. I want to know. So they're saying it's one of two things. I think Caleb thinks it's Sif in some sort of form, and Beau is thinking it might be a Frankenstein's monster type thing that Sif created that he's going to use to attack us. I think Caleb is more on the correct route. He's thinking maybe there's a way we could talk our way out of this and not have to fight it. I think he might be right. I'm not thinking we necessarily have to fight this thing. Will we? Probably. Do we have to? Maybe not. I just feel like we're going to do or say the wrong thing and we're going to end up fighting this thing. Or we just have no choice and we're going to end up fighting this thing. Regardless, it's going to be interesting. Besides that, we tapped back into Caleb saying yet again that all these things are for a reason. All the different reasons I take on the spells I do. And Beau gained some of Caleb's respect. He said Molly really hasn't changed in his opinion, even though he's came back from the dead and doesn't even care that himself did that, which I still think is the weirdest of all. Molly not wanting to know his past is still, to me, the weirdest thing of everybody. Not the weirdest thing, because there's weirder shit, but the most odd to me. Like, why wouldn't you want to know? But either way, we're going off in rants. I'm jumping into episode 16. You guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons added, what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link is in front of me. Dozens of shows over on Patreon, guys. I just don't have the time to edit it all. Go check it out. Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Battlestar Galactica is done in full. Go check it out. If not, comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.